Hello, my name is Joseph Oliveira. I'm here today with Jess Finn, a senior at the University of New Haven. She is also the president of Music Industry Club and the station manager of WNHU. So, this podcast is part of the University of New Haven Welcome Project, a collection of stories about diversity, inclusion, and belonging. So, hi Jess, how are you doing today?
Hi Joe, I'm doing great today.
That's good. All right, to start off our conversation about identity and belonging, I wanted to ask, how do you feel with your identity as a woman?
As a woman, it depends on what aspect, like where I am. So when I'm around my friends and everything, I definitely feel like I belong. But when I'm just, even just like walking around campus, especially at night, stuff like that, I definitely feel like my identity matters, and it matters to my safety and to what I look like and who I just feel like my identity as a woman is just very important to how I'm treated. And as much as I love being a woman, and I think like it's one of the most beautiful things of being a woman, there's definitely a lot of like downsides that come with it.
Kind of moving away from that, and then we'll come back to it. How do you feel of your identity as a musician or someone involved with music?
I definitely feel like I belong there. Because even though I'm not in the music program here, a lot of my friends, like most of my friends, are all musicians and all in the music program. And when I met them, that's when I really started to feel like I was involved in something. When I joined like the clubs, Music Industry Club, WNHU, that's where I felt like I finally found my place. And so I definitely feel a large sense of belonging when it comes to being a musician here and feeling like I have a home.
You talked about, in a class that we shared together, private screenings, you talked about the movie Whiplash, which is a lot about the music industry and stuff like that. And you said you really related to that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you related to it in terms of identity and or belonging?
Absolutely. Because, the whole movie is about how the lead, the percussionist, he wants to fit in so bad in this accelerated jazz band, and so he pushes himself to lengths that he shouldn't be to be able to do so. And I think that's kind of like a stigma for all musicians of like, if you really want to make it, you have to push yourself to those things. And so I saw myself a lot in that character. When I was in high school, I was at the school from like 7 a.m. and I wouldn't leave until 10, and I would just stay there after hours every day practicing and being in the jazz band, being in the jazz choir, like making sure that I was involved in every possible thing that I could be. And while it was like great to be belonging in all of these groups, I definitely like related to the sense of like exhaustion that comes along with being a musician and wanting to belong and wanting to fit into these groups.
Now that we've moved on from high school and now have found a place on college, have you found a place on college belonging?
I believe so. I still think it's the music department. I definitely found a place here within the musicians. When I first joined here, it was COVID and there was not much to do here. The only club that I joined was WNHU, and that was solely because Bruce was on Zoom and he was using like different mustaches and hats and stuff like that and just like joking around, and it like he made it entertaining for us even when it was really difficult to do so. And it was like the one place that I could look forward to having during COVID. And then post-COVID, going to meetings again, Music Industry Club was the first place that on campus that I had felt out of my comfort zone going to. It was all Music Industry Club majors and all music and sound recording majors, and I just felt like they all knew each other, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't know how the club ran. I didn't know anything, and it just took me going to a meeting and sitting down and someone complimented my shoes, and that was like how it started. And I've made like my best friends there, and like I would never trade that for the world. Like Music Industry Club, while WNHU has my heart and I love working here, Music Industry Club is where I met the people that I love. And it's definitely brought me closer with other musicians on campus. It's made me feel like even though I'm not a music major, I still have a place in the music department and I still have an impact in there.
You have a band, don't you?
I do have a band.
You do have a band. Do you feel a sense of belonging there?
I think so. It's definitely a little bit different. being the only girl in the band too is a little bit interesting. So we're called Hope You Like Roses, self-promo. And I'm the lead vocalist, and we have all the rest of the members are men, and it's 3 of them, and they're all wonderful people. But I definitely feel like we all have different experiences, and it took me a really long time for me to feel like I fit in the band. They were all established before I joined, and they all listened to the same music, and they all had the same jokes, and they all had these like little things that they would talk about at rehearsals, and I would just kind of sit there and just sing whatever they wanted me to sing. And it honestly didn't take until we started like writing together because I was just singing like their songs or songs that we all knew. And then when we started to write together, that's when I feel like I was like proving myself in a sense. Not that they ever made me feel like I had to, but I felt like I was creating my own little space in there to have my voice. And then, you know, we also just started to gel more. And I mean, I love them so much. And, you know, like every break that we have where I'm going home and we're writing and we're playing and we're doing anything that we can to be together and play music together. So that's definitely where I also feel like I belong.
All right. You touched briefly about a sort of disconnect from the other members of your band because you're a woman. Would you say that you feel any other sort of disconnect anywhere else on campus being a woman related to Music Industry Club, related to the radio station, related to, I guess, any of your interests, basically, that part of your identity that is music, musicians, and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, I definitely do feel that being a woman impacts my sense of belonging. I think that while most people around me, I don't think that they do it purposely, but there are times where myself and other women in the clubs that I'm in can relate that there's times that we're not taken as seriously or we're spoken over. There's just a way that we're spoken to that is very different, and I don't appreciate it. Like recently we had a concert that I was working on, and we were loading in equipment, and one of the men looked at me and said, "Oh, you can handle that?" And then it was like a heavy case, and I said, "Yeah." Being in the industry, it's just like it is male dominated, and while there's, you know, recently obviously there's people are becoming more accepting and more aware of the stigma and the stereotype of treating women this way. It's definitely, we still have more ways to go.
To wrap up, what would you say you would like people who are going to listen to this to take away from your feelings on identity and belonging? Perhaps fellow people in the music industry or going into the music industry might listen to this, fellow women, or just really anybody on this campus. What would you have to say to them regarding identity and belonging?
I think, especially on this campus, there are a lot of different clubs that are open to us and available to us, and a lot of different opportunities that are, but you just have to be confident enough to take them. Once again, I really it took me a lot to walk into that first Music Industry Club meeting where I didn't know anybody and I was scared and I didn't fit in. And it ended up being the best decision I've ever made in college. And so I would say the most important thing is being confident in yourself and just trying. Because at the end of the day, if you tried and it didn't work out, just try again. And at one point, it's going to work. And so if you feel like you don't belong, or if you're trying to find a sense of belonging in another place, then just go where you feel like your heart is and whatever feels right, and just go for it. I just feel like it's just so important to advocate for yourself and to just do what you want unapologetically, and then you'll find your people who will love you for it.
All right. I've been Joseph Oliveira. I thank Jess Finn for joining me in this little endeavor, and I hope that all those listening really took a lot from this message of, even though in some instances the odds might be against you in certain capacities, like being a woman, for example, you can find a sense of belonging if you reach out for it and make yourself known, especially in the music industry. So this podcast has been a part of the University of New Haven Welcome Project, a collection of stories about diversity, inclusion, and belonging. To listen to or watch more projects, visit newhavenwelcome.com.